Friday. I'll say that.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. I've missed you, my friend.
I know, and you?
Oh, well, initially I was going to attack something a bit more controversial.
More controversial.
More, right? We love
God.
teetering on that controversial seesaw, don't we just?
Yes.
However, where I've gone today that I thought we could have a quick conflab about is something called the circle of concern versus the circle of control. Have you heard of that before?
No, this sounds good.
Yeah. So
Take me to school.
let's go to school. Let's go to school. Yeah. I thought I refer back to it, periodically because it's something that fits in, I guess, to everyday life. And for me, it's a really good grounder. So let me break it down, give you the dot points, shall I?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So if you imagine a circle graphic, actually, can I share screen on this still,
Yes.
Adam? So at least you can see what I'm talking about, yeah?
Yeah, cool. Okay. And then listeners, we shall make sure that things are described well enough for you.
Exactly, yes. However, if you can see it, then you can help describe too, can't you? So
I can.
I think that would be a brilliant idea.
Okay.
Do you see my circle of concern versus
yes, I do.
Oh, do you need me to make it any bigger for you? Being that.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't hear those words very often.
Is it big enough for you? Adam. All right. Back to our circle of concern and the circle of control. And what it's coming down to is you and I talk about week in, week out. We talk about that our thoughts, create our reality.
Yeah.
And a premise of that this leads into is that what you're thinking about is where you're going to direct your energy to.
Okay.
And, we can get to the end of the day, can't we? And we can be quite exhausted mentally and emotionally, exhausted, and we can have things like decision fatigue and all these sort of mental tiredness states, I guess.
Yeah. Actually, talking about decision fatigue, the other week, it was just something simple like ordering pizza.
Yeah.
I was like, just choose which one you want. And it's like, oh, well, you know what I have normally. I was like, yeah, I know, but just choose one. And I ended up going, I'm sick of making all the decisions. Just choose a pizza.
Yes.
Silly things, isn't it? It can get down to that level.
Yeah. And I find it really interesting how I find different people that I speak to about decision fatigue at the moment anyway, have different cycles as well. I've met people that I suggest make all their decisions, important ones, big ones, in the first half of the day, because by the end of the day, they're just, I don't give a shit. Yeah, you know what I mean? They'll just do anything. They don't care. Myself, I find that I tend to, it's almost like a week-long fatigue, as in, maybe the first half of the week or up to, say, Monday to about Thursday, I am just pumping. I'm good. I'm in control of my thoughts and my decisions. And then we head into Friday. I'm just done. I find a lot of my answers are just, I don't care, whatever you want. Yeah, what do you reckon? And I suddenly pass the baton on to someone else to make all the decisions. So I think there's a link there between looking at, well, where are we directing a lot of our mental energy to? Because we're making decisions all the time, aren't we?
Yeah. Even down to like, do I go to the toilet right now, or do I just still sit here for another 10 minutes?
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you're sitting on the couch and flicking through the channels, that's still putting energy into that and wanting your mind to make a decision. What are you going to watch? And you end up, looking at Netflix shorts for an hour, haven't even decided on something. So this circle of concern and control is looking at self-exploratory, I suppose, on where do you direct your mental energy and decision making.
Right.
So,
and I see that's what you mean. So the circle of concern, the two circles, circle of concern, circle of control. Circle of concern is, and the things that are in it, which I'm sure you'll go over in a minute, are the things that people can't control.
Yes.
Circle of concern, and then but the circle of control is focusing on the things you can control.
Exactly.
Right.
So, yeah, perfect. Circle of concern are things that we're worried about and yet really have no say in, no control over, nothing to do. So in the circle of concern on the graphic is things like, when you watch the news, when you think about the economy, when there's natural disasters, when there's political commentary going on, all of those things you can watch, you can take them in. However, are you expending energy after the fact, still worrying about it? When it's not something you can change. Look at the weather is a good example that's in this graphic. Perhaps you had something planned for the day and you wanted to go out and, I don't know, picnic.
Yeah.
And, it's raining. So worrying then about the rest of the day, oh, what am I going to do? And
or even just negatively going, oh, the day's ruined, we can't do that now, blah blah blah, not being like a dog with a bone with it.
Yeah, look where that energy straight away is pointed. It's pointed to something that you have no control over. You can't stop it raining by simply whinging about it.
Yeah.
Nor is worrying about it going to change the fact that it's raining.
Yeah.
So we have to learn how to take a pause and redirect our energy into something that we can take action on. What can we do? And it's interesting that it says if you have a large circle of concerns, you worry about things a lot and keep, going over and running them around in your head.
Re-engaging with the thoughts. Yeah.
Exactly. It tends, those people, or when we're in that circle of concern, we tend to be more reactive. So we spend a lot of time and energy wasting it on reacting to issues that we can't control.
I love this.
And I mean, I've been that person. I'll sit and watch.
We all have, absolutely.
Yeah, we all do it. You'll sit and watch something on the TV, perhaps an interview or something, and they say something that, perhaps hits a nerve, and how much energy I've wasted yelling at the TV.
Yeah.
This guy, this asshole, he doesn't, and off I go on a soapbox rant. And for what? It's not going to change or affect that person that I'm yelling at the TV. However, what it does do is utilize precious energy of mine and for an outcome that's not moved me forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if we can shrink our circle of concern and actually enlarge our circle of control, we will tend to be more proactive. So then we're going to spend a lot of time and energy focusing on things that are within our control. So in the graphic.
That's the circle of control now versus the circle of concern.
Yes, that circle of control. Things in there, things I love. Articles and books that you read or you write. So you're choosing to take action. And what are you filtering and what are you using your mental energy on? What skills are you learning?
Yeah.
Where you live, where you work, whether you start a business, whether you go into leadership, your attitude, your enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Your purchases. So it's really
even down to the things we watch on TV. I'll tell you what, one thing it's funny how you sort of need, we always chat about things that you kind of need to talk about ourselves. It's kind of funny because the other day I even realized that I never used to watch anything scary any scary stuff, any scary movies or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I noticed recently that, you know, other people in the house are like, oh, come and sit and watch this. And I've started watching those things. And I tell you, it really affects my vibe. You know, watching, you know, I call it death and murder. So, you know, true crime documentaries about serial killers. And you just think, oh my God, what am I watching here? I feel like I need to go and watch a kind of My Little Pony kind of Care Bears film afterwards to cleanse my brain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go and watch some Teletubbies or something
Yeah.
to sort of feel better. And it's funny, you know, all of those things that are there in that circle of control, what are we feeding our minds? What are we learning? What skill? You know, it all ties in together, doesn't it? Because it all affects your perspective. And again, like you say, what you're focusing on.
Yes, exactly. And I totally get what you're saying. Anthony, my husband Anthony, and I have quite some different, you know, viewing choices, which is fine. Haven't got a problem with that. Something that he loves to watch that I really struggle with are he watches a lot of sort of war history
Yeah.
docos and movies, and I watch those and I can feel and recognize how much energy I expend worrying. Then, you know, that circle of concern grows when I start watching things like that.
How about
I
that?
start to worry about what if that happened and how would we cope? And oh, it is already happening. And then all of a sudden I'm in that sort of catastrophizing mindset, which is within the circle of concern, because I'm pointing all this energy, mental energy, towards something that right now is not something I can control. I cannot control what happened in, you know, World War II. It's I can't do anything about that. It is what it is. And yet I'm utilizing precious energy worrying about what would happen if, as opposed to taking some action. You know, you can watch something like that and take a moment to, I guess, filter it, learn from it, and then think, okay, well, what action can I take right now to move my life forward and make a difference to my community? If you're not going to do anything to make a difference to your community, then what's the point in expending energy worrying about it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess it even comes down to, you know, things you can control. You know, what job, it says here, you know, where you work, you know, what job are you in? You know, are you just, because so many people, I mean, you know, I've been in wealth creation for so many years. People, you know, come along and wanted to learn how to trade because they want to get out of the rat race and they want to, you know, stop working and all that other stuff. It's not necessarily about stopping working. It's about, you know, because not everyone wants to have their own business or have something like that. Some people just want to do a job they love doing.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I've had jobs that paid me $500,000 a year that I absolutely hated.
Yeah.
And I ended up leaving that and going for a job that made me 200, which is still a lot, I know, but it's 300K less. I took a massive pay cut because I actually prefer, it was something I could control. I realized that I was just there, you know, it's not all about the money necessarily, you know, so dialing it into what can we control, you know, it's about our mindset, mental wellness, what kind of vibe we're putting into it. You know, you can control where you go and work, and as long as you're happy, does the rest really matter? No, because it has a knock-on effect with our families, our partners, the people we spend time with. You know, because if we're focusing, like you say, on a circle of concern, other people in our circle will also suffer from that, won't they? Because of because we're all connected, right?
Exactly, because you know, as we said, the circle of concern is about reactive behaviors, isn't it? Whereas the circle of control is about proactive behaviors. So just as you were talking about with employment, when someone is in a job that they hate and they're going, it's what's the word I want? It's no wonder that they feel reactive or behave reactively to things. Maybe at home, they get home and they're snappy and annoyed and angry, or road rage, or whatever else might happen as a cause of that, because they feel trapped in this. They're worried, I don't want to leave my job because I need the money, but I hate my job and I'm so unhappy. So that feeling of being trapped just takes up so much mental energy. It's got to release somewhere, like a pressure cooker, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
That's where that reactive behavior starts to show out.
Yeah. So then, keeping in the circle of control, the other things are, well, what skills do you need to learn in order to, if you think, oh, well, I've only got the skills to do this, well, there'll be some transferable skills, obviously, but, is there any upskilling you need to do? Is there anything you need to go and learn first, and then at least have a plan and say, well, I'm going to do this over the next 6 months, and then I'm going to look for something else that's going to be better suited, isn't it? And I guess if you're in a relationship and you're thinking, oh God, well, we're in this place together and he pays half or she pays half and da 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 da. Well, okay, so do you want to stay in the relationship just because of those silly little things, or focus on you deserving to be happy, and then make the changes? Do you need to go and get a better job to afford to have more money in to go and be able to afford a place on your own? Or I guess it's all in that circle of this is great. I'm loving this subject.
Yeah, it's all in there about and this came up before in our conversation we were having, Adam, about tapping in to your resources.
Yes.
Becoming resourceful is how you be proactive, how you make a change and take control of the trajectory of your life.
Yeah.
It all starts with where you are focusing your thoughts, your mental energy.
Yeah.
It'd be an interesting sort of study, personal study to do, I think, to actually look at throughout a day, even just one day, one 24-hour period. Where are you focusing your thoughts?
It's a great idea to do. Just, even just being aware of it, isn't it? Just being like you said, being an observer is really important. Observe yourself.
Yeah. Start there. Start by observing and becoming aware of what's the bigger circle in your life at the moment. Do you worry about more stuff? Do you have a bigger circle of concern, and therefore you're going to be more reactive to things because you have no control over them, or no perceived control? Yeah. Or, can you expand your circle of control and start being more proactive, start focusing and directing your energy and your thoughts towards what you want and what you can control and what you can direct in your own life, as opposed to, being the pinball in a pinball machine, just getting flung around the place and then snapping at everyone because you feel like your life has no meaning, or you've got no direction in life, or whatever.
Because
make that shit yourself.
Yeah, well, because it's not their fault, is it? So it's all on you in that situation, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're the only one that can control these things is you.
What is that saying? And maybe it doesn't even fit in here. I don't care. There's that saying that says, if you don't like where you are, your situation, then move. You're not a tree.
Absolutely.
And I feel like that's about this as well. This is about that circle of control. Just as you were saying, with a job, with a relationship, yes, it's hard. By no means are we suggesting that any of these decisions or anything are easy. It comes loaded. When you want to expand your circle of control and be more proactive, with it comes risk. And that's what scares people and keeps them, I think, in a circle of concern. Because as long as they're worrying about other things that they can't control, they are also not risking being responsible.
Yes, being responsible, absolutely, taking responsibility for it. I mean, even I was watching a random meme popped up, and Samantha from Sex and the City came up. She was breaking up with someone. She was like, you know what? I love you, but I love me more. And I was like, oh, what a great phrase.
Yeah.
You should always love yourself the most in any situation.
Yeah.
And if if you think and act like your best friend, if you were best friend to somebody else, what would you say to them? You'd be like, well, come on, get it sorted. Come on, do it, make the decision. Why would you not say that to yourself and do it?
Exactly. Be your best advocate. Be your cheerleader. Advocate, I think, is a good word, isn't it?
Big time, yeah.
If you don't like something in your life, there's an area in your life that is causing, friction, unhappiness,
Yeah.
conflict within you, then take a moment, take a pause,
and
think about, okay, what of this situation is within my control?
Absolutely. And when you think about it, everything's about balance. So what I guess we're not saying is, it's pretty unhealthy to be all circle of control.
Yeah.
It's because you need to be aware of the things that are going on in the world, because in the circle of I nearly broke out into song then, circle of life. In the circle of concern are things like, what's going on in the media, what news is happening, be aware of those things and don't necessarily worry about it, but be predominantly in the circle of control and action the things that you can take care of. So, I mean, in the news at the moment there's a volcano about to go off. A volcano about to go off in Iceland, and this town of Grindavik, it's called, has been evacuated like a few days ago because they're expecting a huge volcanic eruption, like along a 12-kilometer fault line. So they've I think evacuated over 3,000 people, and they're all home, roaming. They're like nomads now, just waiting for this thing to happen. Well, the circle of concern is the volcano's about to go off. What do you do? Do you just run around going, oh my God, what can you do? Those people are living right in it. They're in their circle of control. They've been evacuated. And, what do you do in that situation? Do you sit there and panic, or do you think, right, okay, we need to leave the country, or do we need to just move somewhere entirely? I mean, if that happened to me, I wouldn't be worried about all my stuff left behind. I'd be like, right, well, can we move to the north of the country, miles away from the volcanic? That would be being in the circle of control, isn't it? So you need to be aware rather than it's all about balance, I guess, isn't it? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and finding your own balance. And just as you said, there's lots of things going on internationally at the moment that are sparking a lot of emotion and debate and discussion. And I will just simply bring that back to when you watch something that's happening. So that's in the circle of concern. You're concerned about it. You're thinking, yeah, this is not good. However, you can see the people that stay in that circle of concern because they become reactive and they react to it rather than move that concern into an area of control where they think, okay, personally, what can I learn from this? How can I help this? How can I be part of the solution rather than the problem?
Oh, I love that. I remember one of my bosses said that to me once. I came into his office with a problem. Oh, this is going on, blah, blah, blah. And he looked at me and went, Adam, get out of my office. Don't bring me problems. He said, and just come back in here when you've got a damn solution. Bye. And kick me out. I was like, and you know what? That was one of the best lessons I've ever had. You just hit the nail on the head there. Be part of the solution.
Yes. And I think being part of the solution is where you move into the circle of control.
Yeah. It's empowerment, isn't it?
100%.
100%
Yeah. 100%. When we're being reactive, we're simply, going off an emotion that's been triggered or something like that. And we're.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't want to go.
Are you a passenger in the bus of life, or are you in the driving seat?
The metaphors are flowing.
I know. Maybe I should have used are you a passenger in the private jet, or are you the pilot rather than a bus? I don't know.
I don't know, because I kind of want to be a passenger on a private jet. That sounds all right. I do like being waited on.
Yeah, don't get that on buses.
Right? Yeah, not on buses. Yeah. Anyway,
wow, that was marvelous. What a great chat.
Brilliant. I'm glad you liked it. Knew you would. And we'll leave it there. let's
Beauty.
go and think about our circle of control.
Yeah, I'm going to go and get firmly in my circle of control now.
Love your work. And I will see you in this circle of control next week. Yeah.
Boom.
Much
Mic
love.
drop. All right,
Mwah.
darling. Mwah. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.